Sir, I think we can start now. And we have more than 200 participants also joining us, sir.
Oh,
Very,
good.
very good evening, friends. Today we have two stalwarts from the banking industry. Both of them has more than 3 decades of banking experience. They have worked in various departments, geographic, and brings tons of banking experience along with them. Sir, we are really fortunate and honored to have both of you here in this webinar. And just to give you the background, sir, our registrations got filled last evening itself, sir. So we have more than 500 registrations as on date. So, and this is what the hall can maximum accommodate. So you can understand that how much the patience level and how much the people would definitely would like to hear from you in that. Friends, lot of things are happening around us. Every hour we are getting some news, and then we are also getting lot of good, bad, and ugly news for that also. We get lot of opinions behind that. But today, we don't want to get into any sort of interpretation. We don't want to use our own brains for that. We will definitely try to hear it from the horse's mouth. Sir, business, banking, COVID, everything, sir. Whatever things which is happening around us, how we should react, how the businessman should react, what we can expect out of the banking industry. Mahapatra sir, just to bring on the table first, sir, after demonetization, I have heard you and you had told me the first sentence that after the demonetization, in terms of every set of rules of the game will get changed. How do you interpret this black swan events, and do you think that this is the end of the road, or the frequency after the demonetization has increased, Mahapatra sir? So I suppose that your headliner or whatever is a prediction, sir, it is all coming true to this event. So just to have your opening remarks for it, sir. Welcome, welcome, sir, and it's all over to you, Mahapatra sir.
Okay, thank you. I do not know. Opening remark will be you want a short remark or a long remark?
Sir, you can have some short remark because we have a tons of questions, sir. You can see that we have, sir, 50 questions right now lining up for you both.
So right now, I think what I mentioned, as you rightly told, as a black swan event. Black swan event is specifically categorized under a category which is known as known unknown, in the sense that that a black swan will come amongst thousands of white swans is predicted. It is seen elsewhere in the world, but this is an unknown. Which, if in a Johari window, when we plot knowns and unknowns, this is unknown. And currently, what we are predicting today in terms of the shape and size of recovery, people are taking two models. Going forward, when somebody asks the question, I will try to share that screen. The 1918 flu of Spain, where it killed a large number of people, and it impacted around 30% of the population. And of the population which were impacted, about 1/3 were killed. And during that period, what we called NPI today, non-pharmacological intervention, which is social distancing, which is locking down, etc. How they played, there is a shot to show it to your people. And I have also taken some data from various sources, like RBI's database, like what the Project Syndicate says, what the World Economic Forum says. So partly during this economist, as if we are partly bankers. But going forward, I think it will be a very interesting discussion to find out how commonsensically we can chart a roadmap. We can, what do you call that? Once the Kundali is given, the astrologer gives you the birth chart. So similarly, given the past and given the father, mother, date of birth, etc., we'll try to predict it.
प्रधान सर, I have written, sir, आपने एक जगह ये कहा हुआ है कि sir, bankers should be able to predict medium and long-term cash flow for his borrowers. Not only this, they should always revisit the expected cash flows from time to time. Sir, मतलब from here where? This is just के यहाँ से कहाँ जाएं sir?
Yeah. Good evening to all of you.
Thank you so much, Godam sir. Welcome, sir.
In fact, this statement I made in the context of dispensation given by RBI to MSME players.
Yes, sir.
I was of the view that the bankers did go for SDR, and S4A, and all those restructuring process without adequately understanding the cash flow. And in the process, they were saddled with huge NPAs, and today we are struggling with that. If we are going to adopt that kind of hard mentality and without understanding the cash flow of the MSME players, ultimately it will result in the same kind of deluge of NPAs coming into the banking field today. So that being the statement that was in that context, but today, as Mahapatra sir has already initiated the discussion, I see it's nothing but a World War III we are fighting today. The enemy is invisible and inscrutable. All the economies in the world are in shambles today, and we do not know what will be the extent to which we are going. Like IMF says, the GDP will come down to 1.9%. Barclays says it will be negative in 2020. So under these circumstances, it's very difficult to predict what kind of cash flow we are talking about. Even when I was listening to the governor's speech this morning, and when he is giving a dispensation of 90 days extension for ICA cases, it's very difficult to understand how did the RBI come to the conclusion after 90 days, this period will be adequate enough to take care of all those ICA cases. It's very difficult. So government of India, with all the wherewithals with them, they are not able to predict the cash flow. And how do I expect my small MSME retail players, they will be able to understand their cash flow and will be able to fathom it to take it forward.
Correct, sir.
That's how it is.
Mahapatra sir, again coming back and quoting your own statement, sir, leader must adopt to tomorrow's banking. Sir, you have highlighted everything, sir. All the shortages, all the competition, everything, sir. So don't you think this statement is absolutely becoming much more apt right now? So just wanted to have your message, as you rightly pointed out in the opening remark also, ki sir, you will lay us some mantra and some successful mantra. Sir, can you just lay us, sir, हम लोग को क्या करना चाहिए, sir? What we should do right now?
Jyoti, is a good question. See, leaders must adapt to future of banking. What is future? Future is uncertain. So leaders are essentially in the business of risk taking. So when you are dealing with the future, you are dealing with uncertainties. You are dealing with things which cannot be predicted with 100% confidence level as of now. So we are dealing with a situation more so in a pandemic situation. So if you permit, I'll strongly recommend to all your viewers two papers which are I will just show for a moment, which I believe are very, very good in terms of showing that what are the various I do not know whether this I'll be able to. One is I'll tell you if it is possible. One is this paper. I do not know whether you can you see it?
Yes, sir, we can see it, sir. Emerging priorities and principles of managing the global economic impact of COVID-19, sir. It is the World Economic Forum report which says that.
This is available, free in the WEF this thing. And the other one that I strongly recommend your participants to see and how the what are the lessons?
How can we save lives, sir? This is what the World Economic Forum has came out with that.
So what I think Mr. Pradhan mentioned that government is been able to. So in the interest of simplicity and in the interest of your viewers and your participants to understand, I'll take a couple of minutes in making some fundamentals clear. Okay, when we are looking at the government's plan, government has put plans into two buckets. One, priority geographies, one priority sectors. So priority geographies are essentially non-municipal, non-hotspot, and non-potentially threat areas where probably we will see rapid economic comeback. Because that is what the government is telling. And in priority areas, government has put agriculture, industry, value chain financing, then manufacturing, e-commerce. Again, government is yet to issue a clarification. We have read in the papers that Amazon and Flipkart, they are asking for clarification from the government whether e-commerce, home delivery, etc. will also cover non-essential, non-food items, like books will commence, or what is it? Then SEZ, IT hardware, oil exploration, road irrigation projects, logistics, these will also come. Now today, we have got the regulatory also forbearance and other IRSC modification norms. The other thing that that will be contextual and for your readers to understand, or for your viewers to understand the recovery roadmap, is to understand that Indian economy was already into some sort of slowdown before the COVID-19 occurred. It is not that unlike the American economy, which was firing from all cylinders, or UK economy, we were yet to fire from all cylinders. The bank and other systems were coming back, going down, coming back, going down. So there is a yo-yo that was going on. Now, if we look at the composition of our GDP, again, I think now, today morning, the chief economic advisor has told that globally, it is predicted that we will go into a recession and there will be a negative growth of around 2 to 2.5% in the global economy. And Indian economy is predicted not to go into the negative territory, but it will post between 1 to 2%. I think the consensus is around 1.8% net GDP growth that will happen. But if we are looking at GDP growth as a proxy for the recovery of the economic activities in the country, we must understand the composition of it. As of today, of the GDP, 15% comes from agriculture and allied activities. So in other words, the governments, because of the political correctness, have to prioritize agriculture and allied recovery. 30% of the GDP is coming from industry and 55% is coming from service.
Correct.
Now, in the service sector, time permitting, again, there is an interesting database which is sectoral deployment of credit. It is RBI. It is in the RBI website. I have done an analysis. I'll send it to you, maybe for sharing it with all your people.
Do that, sir.
There, if you look at it, between between March 19 and February 20, there are clear-cut sectors which are showing either deceleration or contraction.
Correct.
Now, those sectors, again, there is another study by economist which says that there are 38% deployment in sectors which are high risk in terms of laying off people or contracting. So MSME, tourism, physical contact, hospitality, aviation, all these sectors which deploy around 1.3 billion people globally, which is 38% of global workforce, are high risk of laying off people. So that means we are looking at 38% of the sector. In India, it may be 30%, it may be 45%.
Correct.
More likely it is 45%.
Correct.
Because we are more a service-oriented industry and more people are engaged in e-commerce. So 45% of the total economic activity will see some contraction or layoff. So we are looking at that kind of have to formulate the background.
background of
Yeah.
this 45% contraction, and you have already mentioned that insolvency and bankruptcy code is turning out to be a damn squab and forcing the government to pump more capital into the PSU, that the settlement of the loans, sir. This entire scenario, don't you think it is matlab, with so gloom and so doom, but whatever that we are listening about it and whatever we are hearing about it, Pradhan sir, matlab, what is your take from here? Matlab, how the
In
banking
fact,
is going to evolve and how the business models are going to evolve from here, sir?
in fact, I couldn't agree more with Mahapatra sir.
Hmm.
I was looking at the SBI data today. SBI data says
Hmm.
about 37.3 million workforce in this country, they are going to go without work. That will be costing the economy about for this lockdown period more than 4 lakh crores.
Correct.
This is the kind of income loss. It is going to be a disastrous recession. Bapata sir was talking about recession. Some economist has used the word, it is a disastrous recession. Perhaps we do not see a way out in the next 2-3 quarters. Given this scenario, it's going to really difficult. There was a time when the supply was an issue, but today there is no demand. Nobody is asking for bank money. If at all bank money is required today, it is essentially for consumption.
Correct.
So the question when there is no demand and enough liquidity in the market, Reserve Bank of India bringing down the reverse repo rate, assuming that the bankers will be sunning their habits of not taking the risk and going, perhaps the challenges the banking industry will be facing in quarters to come, maybe 2-3 quarters, will be struggling with a scenario where we do not have very many avenues to come out with.
Pradhan sir, retail loans has always been your focus area. In Q3 of United Bank growth, you can see that 20% of the loan growth has funds was always on the retail for the growth, sir. From how do you think that your strategy will shift, or what would be the retail area focus right now, sir?
If you're talking of United Bank of India, yes, retail growth has been very good. That
Yes,
was
sir.
essentially because this bank has been retail focused all through.
Yes.
And I just pushed it in that direction to a large extent. But that was happening at a point in time when the economy was growing at around 5.8%. Now the prediction being economy will be growing as between around 1.8 to 1.9 as IMF says. This is going to be really difficult. You can't even push the real retail sector because many people, they do not have the source of income for definitely holding that kind of money, not to spend four-wheeler with a house funds kind of scenario it is going to be. So it will be really difficult for the banks. It's not going to be easy. I don't see a way out.
Absolutely. Mahapatra sir, you can understand that Pradhan sir and everybody's the opinion ki sir, there is no way out that we are able to see it right now. So what is the light at the end of the tunnel can we see, or how are you foreseeing things to come up, things, Mahapatra?
Jyoti, no, everybody in the market says I'm an eternal optimist.
Yes, you are an eternal optimist, sir. That is why, sir, we have laid the context for you here, sir.
So,
sir, I could remember during the IT times, sir. I could also remember that during the merger of that SBI, you were the only DMD at that point of time. You were absolutely enthusiastic and gung-ho about that. So I can understand from that.
I was given, that was an opportunity, where again, anecdotally
Yes,
speaking,
sir.
in order to relate,
Yeah,
I remember one day Mrs. Bhattacharya came and told that it has been decided that we'll
but sir,
merge.
yes, sir.
Of 6 weeks to complete the merger.
Absolutely. And you were
So
the
I
only.
told that 6 weeks is a little short, but
Hmm.
lo and
Hmm.
behold, I think I don't know whose prayers were answered.
And
Demonetization came, and so we got 16 weeks plus 6 months, or
and that is
whatever.
how the optimist, that is where your name has
But
come from.
apart from this, since we are discussing the
Yes, sir.
recovery path, one thing that is clear to me is that globally, what we are seeing a deglobalization. The supply chains, which Tom Friedman called that world is flat. That is, the project may be conceptualized in Europe, it may be designed in India, it may be manufactured in China, and it could be delivered through Singapore. So this distributed delivery chain in the last 3 or 4 years, thanks to rise in nationalism, whether you call it Trump regime, or whether you call it Modi regime, or whether you call it Angela Merkel's regime, somehow the rise in nationalistic feelings has led to some sense of deglobalization. That means the manufacturing activities and the supply chain lengths and the spreads are getting contracted. So what I see is that if you look at the other side of it, there are private equity funds where funds have been raised, but they have not been invested. They're sitting with the GPs waiting for good deals to happen. Now we are seeing corporate sectors. So, and the valuations will be exceedingly attractive because people are, people have to pay their salary bills. People have to keep their supply chains intact. So I am seeing that during this recovery phase, and added to that, what we are seeing is that AAA and AA bonds through TLTRO, there'll be a lot of liquidity which will be available with the larger corporates. So larger corporates M&A activity in acquiring their down the line supply chain units will increase, which is good. There will be some consolidation, there will be some lateral mergers which will happen, and there will be some takeover because they will welcome. Let us say that there is a small unit which is manufacturing, who was offering a 100 crore valuation. Today, because of his survival, he will probably agree and welcome a 60 crore because he doesn't have the wherewithal to withstand the uncertainty of it.
Correct.
So this is one positive thing that I'm seeing. Second thing that I'm seeing is that globally, the short and medium term has to be necessarily supported by government spending. In times like this, whether you call it Roosevelt plan or you call it whatever, governments have to step in and step up their spending, whether it is employment generation or whether it is infrastructure building or whether it is any other activity which will keep the consumer confidence high. Because again, if you look back at the economic survey, which if you go behind the scenes, why in the last budget so much of importance was given to investments coming in, because private investments has been proven to be the major engine of economic growth, and private investment always looks for predictable consumption. Because what happens in the economy, we are looking at primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. What is primary sector? Primary sector is agriculture, forest, fishery, mining, all those things which deals with nature. Correct. Secondary sector is manufacturing, processing, doing this. Which processes this? And tertiary sector is the service sector, which consumes whatever is produced in the primary and secondary sector. Now, primary and secondary sector, if we want to prop up, I think a lot of investment will go into boosting primary sector. And what I'm expecting is that this mining, this construction, primary and secondary sector boosting activities will be the priority of the government. Sectors which were seeing some kind of lack of traction will come up during the recovery phase. Third thing that I'm looking at is that the health sector and social sector investment will see a big boost. So I think if you have investors in the audience, I think the healthcare sector, the public health delivery system, the paramedical segment like the testing segment, like the database, the research, biotechnology, all those sectors will see a boost. No doubt about it. And last but not the least, what I'm seeing is that for
moving ahead of that, sir, because of the M&A activity, bigger will become much more bigger. And you can see from the insolvency also, sir, getting acquired by all the bigger company. Look at the steel sector, look at how all the bigger companies are becoming bigger. And don't you think that the distribution of wealth is, again, from an economic perspective, and the distribution of wealth where the difference between the have and the have not will be much more, the difference will be much more highlighted? Don't you think that economic disruption is going to take place much more sooner for it, sir?
No, I have a lurking fear about that because, as they say, economy per se is
Correct, sir.
nothing to write home about unless we talk simultaneously about the political economy and the social economy. Because it must be politically correct and it should be socially acceptable. Otherwise, economy per se, distribution of wealth, as they say, the study of famines, as they told, Amartya Sen's theory, it says that more people died of famine not because of shortage of food supplies, but because distribution channels were inefficient. So similarly, the distribution of wealth will continue to be a political priority in an economy like ours. And what will happen also is that these disparities will be accentuated, and it will be a great balancing act which has to be played. And there was another discussion that guaranteed basic income.
Correct,
this
sir.
is one concept which people are talking, but whether guaranteed basic income will be a substitute for the government benefit transfer or it will be in addition to government benefit transfer, because both things, probably a government exchequer, FRBM, is likely to be rested for a while. Because generally they say that if the deficit increases beyond a particular point, then it will lead to runaway inflation and it will lead to increase in prices, which will not be supported by any economy. So this balancing act, I think, will be played out, and it will be interesting to watch how the policymakers are doing it.
Ashok sir, are you there, or we have lost you,
Yeah,
sir?
I just came, I believe.
Sorry, Ashok sir.
Yeah,
we were just trying to find out. And so, Ashok sir, just to give you the background, Mahapatra sir has definitely laid down what are the positives coming out of this this downturn, and which are the sectors that we can look at, how the wealth distribution that we were speaking about, Pradhan sir. I suppose, sir, your video is not coming, Ashok sir. Are you doing something?
Video is not coming.
Not at all an issue. So
audio is there.
Yes, sir. It is. You are absolutely clearly audible to us. And just wanted to understand, sir, what do you think can be the positive out of this this event?
See, India as a country has always responded better during emergencies.
Correct.
So this is a scenario when we need to look inward. We need to look to strengthen our manufacturing segment. We should have been contributing in a country like India. Manufacturing should have been contributing to about 40 to 50% to the GDP. Unfortunately, it is not that. It is less than 20%. So we should be investing substantially to scale up our capacity on manufacturing so that this becomes a positive to the bank in the long run. And second thing, like if we are talking in terms of distributing wealth, it should be by way of creating some asset. It cannot be by way of dig the hole and fill it up. Keynesian theory kind of scenario cannot happen. That does not create enough assets, and in the process, it is just squandering out the national resources. Many state governments they are indulging in a kind of distribution model which is nothing but consumption-driven expenses. argue for a scenario where there should be some creation of asset which will be giving us return in due course of time. We need to, at this point in time, we need to bring out the people who are working in agriculture. Our agriculture is 50% of our workforce is working in agriculture. If you look in terms of productivity, it is very deficient. It's inefficient way of deploying the workforce in the agriculture segment. So the agriculture segment, which is stopped with people, they should be brought out and they should be utilized in the manufacturing segment. I would suggest to create satellite cities at this point in time to avoid this kind of migration which we have seen all these years. People are moving, everybody wants to move to Delhi or Bombay. Why it is so? If you can create satellite cities and create avenues of employment in that pocket, that will be creating a kind of balance which we are developing towards an imbalanced economy. So some of the small measures perhaps will be doing a lot of good things. And at the same time, when the money is being transferred from the government to the individuals, it should be by way of direct benefit transfer, not otherwise. And at this point in time, I would suggest this being an emergency scenario, the government should, there is a lot of stock in the granaries of the Food Corporation of India.
Yes.
And those people, those who are stuck up, they said the people should be kept in situ. It means they have to be kept at the place where they are. There is a need for providing food, at least for the timing, so that they can look for alternate employment. And the state government should start providing works to the people. Like in Telangana, the road construction activity has already been started, and the government of Telangana is utilizing this lockdown period to create assets. The roads are being relaid. The construction activities which are stopped could not happen because of the political opposition. They're getting employment. So I would suggest some of the state government, they should initiate work instead of going for complete lockdown. Complete lockdown is going to break the economy, which you cannot afford. A country like India cannot afford that kind of scenario.
Absolutely. I don't think, Pradhan sir, your opinion absolutely is coming at the right time, and it is absolutely required for coming back to the track. I was speaking to some of the senior bureaucrats, and they are also of the same opinion. That, sir, it is now becoming a question of survival for us. It is, you leave the question of revival then thereafter, sir. Mahapatra sir, just coming back to the local problems right now, sir, we have discussed about how the problem of the economy and other things, sir. Since we as an MSME player or at a smaller player, sir, at the bottom of the pyramid type of people, whatever that the government or the bank or the Reserve Bank has done it in the last 1 month, whatever the concession or the 10% or the 3 months deferment, do you think, sir, it's enough for the industry?
No, it is not exactly enough, but I am expecting that one more round will come because what I am seeing is that, today the country's position in terms of current account deficit is quite positive because the oil prices have moderated, and they are likely to stay moderate because the demand is not there. So production will not be heavy, but the oil price. So current account with a small current account positive, in fact, instead of current account deficit. And along with that, this morning, in fact, the RBI governor was telling that it was around 487 billion of forex reserve. RBI balance sheet is strong. So I believe that another dose of liquidity support is likely to come to the MSME sector. Second thing that I am seeing also is that, the MSME sector and other sectors that are required to be supported because they don't have staying power will be supported once the long-term and patient investors, as we call it, like the insurance companies and the ESIs, etc. Because the banks will be comparatively impatient in terms of can never match with somebody like an insurance company or who have 30-year fund, we have 50-year funds like that. So they will also have to come in and substitute some of the bank's activities in order that these things can be taken forward. So I believe that MSME and the smaller sectors which have less staying power, they will get further rounds of both as we call it fiscal
Pradhan
comes
sir,
from government and RBI respectively.
Yeah.
Pradhan sir, what do you think that it can be done for as an immediate relief for this sector, sir? What should be done immediately as an
Yes,
injection
that
point,
is
sir?
what I was looking at. In fact, I was expecting the regulator to be a little more flexible.
Mhm.
The regulator is virtually binding the hands of the bankers. Bankers would have gone a little wide open. In the sense, if RBI would have given the clearance that IRAC norm recognition norm 90 days is, it's 180 days for the time being, it will be subject to review. That would have given a lot of confidence on 27th of March when the RBI came out with the policy benefit or not. Today also, when the RBI said so, there is still a lot of interpretation, but yes, I believe those accounts which are standard on 1/3/2020, they are going to get the benefit. So in essence, they are going to get that 180 days now. Look at the other segment in the large corporate segment when the intercreditor agreement has been signed, but we have not been able to find a long-term investor to take care of those projects. As extension, they should have clearly told that this 90 days extension excludes the money. That would have given a lot of comfort leeway to the bankers to find an alternate buyer, and all those players would have been restored to good health.
Correct, sir.
See, going by the scenario today, if you look at the IVC framework, the kind of liquidation that is happening and the kind of recovery that is happening, it is hardly in the range of 15 to 17%. If you go on recovering 15 to 17% and 83% is written off, then ultimately at the end of the day, you will not find the bankers in health to support the industry, whether it is MSME or any other large projects. Mahapatra sir is talking about a long-term funding. I am talking in the short period also, with the kind of resolution that is looking at the bankers and the kind of recovery that is coming to the bankers will never ever be in good health to fund the industry requirement. And the government doesn't have that kind of capital to pump in, go on perennially pumping into the banking industry to support the industry, to support the MSME
Correct.
players. But yes, MSME needs to be supported today. The bankers, without looking at the collateral cover, there has been enough demand from the industry. There should be additional working capital. Banks should fund it liberally. There should not be demand for moratorium. There should not be demand for additional collateral cover. Rate of interest comfort should be provided too. And Government of India should come forward, state we will provide guarantee for all these exposures to the industry and to the MSME players. That will make everything much easier, and the MSME players can be brought out of the morass they are in today. I think you have to create an opinion. The Government of India should very clear. They should come out with a guarantee program, unlike a truncated guarantee framework which is brought in for the NBFCs. That's not going to help.
Pradhan sir, again coming back to that 10% extra limit, whatever that the government or the banks are providing, sir. If you look at the fine print into it, it is only for the fund-based limit that the 10% limit is provided. Sir, all the MSME player, all the infra players, sir, they also have a fund-based plus non-fund-based limit. Apart from one bank in India, rest other banks are none of them of the banks are providing the 10% extra limit for the non-fund-based limit. So don't you think, sir, while doing the MPBF calculation or while doing the working capital calculation, we take into account the entire working capital cycle, then that is being bifurcated into the fund-based requirement and the non-fund-based requirement. So we are only taking into the 10% extra cover only for the fund-based, and why the non-fund-based limit is excluded here, sir?
I understand.
And including,
I understand.
sir, I'm not pointing out anything, sir. It is including both of yours esteemed bank wherever that you are associated with, because so none of the banks are considering that non-fund based limit right now.
So I don't disagree with you with your assertion that yes, it is 10%. Perhaps it was thought initially, but this is the right time. We should move out of the stock financing model. We should go for cash flow model.
Sir, that is absolutely correct.
This is the right time we should look at the cash flow, and the differential cash flow should be funded a month-to-month basis. So this will take away all your fund-based, non-fund-based requirement assessment and 10%. So and now let the bankers come forward and bring in a model which will be absolutely backed by the cash flow, and that will take care of all the requirements. But at the same time, I would request through you and through the to the viewers who are listening to us, we have to create an opinion, particularly the public sector enterprises, central public sector enterprises or state public sector enterprises. They should release whatever money they are holding to the MSME players. I'll just bring another dimension to this discussion. The trade bills discounting platform, which was doing exceedingly well, particularly MSME players are hugely benefited. What is happening? There is no discussion whatsoever in the regulatory prescription or dispensation which you have heard today or on 27th. The trade bills which are falling due, what will happen to those trade bills? They will become NPA because it can overdraft. So bankers are at loss. Can we talk to the government of India to ensure that all those central public sector enterprises, they release whatever dues are to the MSME players without any further delay? This will release the funds which have been blocked, and at the same time, additional funds can be given.
Mahapatra sir and Pradhan sir, there is again a, I'm not complaining as such, but I'm just trying to bring out the forthrightly whatever the problem we as a companies are facing at the ground level. I'm also the chairman of MSME committee of CII, where I represent approximately around 3 lakh MSME members. So whatever the frequent complaints that I am receiving, and I've spoken to the various bankers unofficially, the problem that we are facing is because of the 4C that you understand, that all the CBIs of the world and other things. Sir, although you as a banker at the top of the helm of the affair, the scheme has been drafted, that's a 10% of the extra working capital limit can be given. All the person at the sanctioning level and at the ground level, they are of the opinion that what would happen after 5 years down the road when we will be called up by our caller and we will be asked that why can't it be called as an evergreening of the loan by the same statutory authority who has given the permission to give the 10% of the loan. And there are two practical problems, sir. First of all, it is the distribution of the decision making, sir. Whatever the decision making that all the top management of the banks and the Reserve Bank of India or the government is taking, how it is trickling down at the ground level, sir. At this coveted point, sir, I request and I urge, sir, both of you at a senior level, sir, how can you motivate the people at your bank? How can you motivate that at least they should start taking the decision in this lockdown period? Last 15 days, you can look at the disbursement just because the documentation cannot be signed. So there is a e-signature which is there. There are a lot of innovation. There are a lot of technological innovation which is also taking place. So because of signature not being taking place, so lot of disbursements are not happening. So people are not taking the decision. Sir, some of the bankers are going into an extreme type of कि सर आप हम लोगों को रिवाइज CMA डेटा दीजिए, हमको ये देखना है कि कोविड से आपका कितना इम्पैक्ट है. Sir, this 10% limit has to be given to us without any question asked. Sir, sir, look at the distribution of this COVID loan, that how much at the ground level those MSMEs has really got for it, sir. Absolutely, Pradhan sir and Mahapatra sir, it is our, first of all, we are not being given the non-fund based limit timely nahi mil pa raha hai, sir. Sir, you can understand, sir, justice denied.
Yeah, no, I think that non-fund based limit is a where, you know,
correct,
it is money is immediately out of the door. Generally, non-fund based limit, even if there is an NPA, it is a deferred NPA because it must crystallize and then only it must be converted. And also, I believe that this is a legitimate request and that we will have to give. In addition, you know, even the policy makers that I interact with, they are strongly thinking of both, complete guarantee as well as first loss guarantee. Both the things are coming. So I think this will help. Third thing that you told, this operational aspects of whether the policy narrative or the policy directive is getting translated fast
Correct,
into
sir.
operational thing. I think all the public sector banks are working. But at the same time, looks like, I do not want to make a divide here, but looks like the private sector participation in this revival and rehabilitation and restructuring is
There's
a little,
negligent, sir. Sir,
what
sir,
should
I
I
will
say, lukewarm.
use the word
Lukewarm.
negligent, sir. Please, sir. I am not.
Lukewarm.
Yes,
It is lukewarm because they believe that, again, Pradhan Sahab was
correct.
present when we were interacting with the RBI governor. I told clearly that, when one of the deputy governors was mentioning that the growth of MSME advances in the private sector far outstrips the growth in the public sector. So I requested them that you examine it, growth minus growth in loans against property.
Correct, sir.
Then you will get the proper MSME funding that is coming to this sector. So we will have to definitely, this is if MSME sector contributes to 6% of GDP, but employs around 21% or 22% of the national workforce, it requires a different business model. And in the banking, I will not wash off my hands. Yes, the lack of empathy in the front line. As you told, somebody is asking, please give me revised CMA and other things. The policies needs to be there, and there is no dearth of empathy at the senior level. Let me be this sure.
Absolutely, sir.
Every one of us, at least up to the GM level,
Correct,
or
sir.
the DGM level, they are very convinced. But we will have to work harder to take this empathy factor to the front line, and we will work on that.
Sir, again, one more. Yes, Pradhan, sir.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I just wanted to endorse what Mrityunjay sir is talking about. Yes, we will take it forward, and if we see that some of the people are deliberately shirking the responsibility, we will try to make it a point that they do not do that. And at the same time, when we are talking about 4Cs, we should not be worried too much about the 4Cs, because if we are doing the job as per the given parameters within the limitations defined by the organization, you need not worry. The only thing is that you need to document your decision clearly. So tomorrow when you are not there, those documentation should support you. So this is a kind of awareness, lack of awareness at some point, perhaps that is happening. So that we will try to take steps to ensure that doesn't have come. Yeah.
Can we take an extreme step, sir? Can I request you, sir, you give that 10% is available to all the MSMEs. If any SME or any MSME is not availing this 10% loan, then those MSME notice should only be brought to you. It should not be आपके पास सर अभी वही लोन आ रहे हैं जो MSME or the top management is only concerned about the loans which you are disbursing, sir. I suppose can the top management also take a view that there are out of 100 clients of yours, there are 5 or 6% of the client where this loan has % of the MSME loans burst, sir. At least there's an opportunity loss assessment that you
because
can do
there
for
was some
client.
clarity missing in the banks, amongst the bankers also, because the margin person, because bankers wanted to ensure that this becomes a 100% loan without any margin. And there was some confusion at the grassroots level that has been clarified as far as PNB is concerned. It has been clarified. I'm sure the rest of the things which have been stuck up, that will be taking shape, and you will not have that kind of complaint. If at all it happens, I will take a review of that and ensure that everybody gets that 10% which has been sanctioned to them.
Mahapatra sir, you are absolutely correct that we should not take into account the loan against property, and we will be also be highlighting the point that this LAP loan or this loan against property, the maximum loans were given by the NBFCs, and NBFCs are not given this 3 months dispensation credit, sir. So since NBFC has to pay the installment or their interest and installment in time to give them, so this NBFC, because all the maximum of those loans, you can see that LAP loans or all the smaller loans has been originated and being disbursed by NBFC. And since NBFCs also raised money against the securitization or against the pass-through certificate, whatever that has been, that the NBFCs has funded or taken the loan there. And since there is no concession into that securitization pool, because in that securitization pool, there is definitely the repayment pool and everything which has been given there. So ultimately, the harassment comes down to the small borrower, Mahapatra sir.
No, I agree. But at the same time, if we look at global thing, I mean, just being very transparent from the other side, I think, like Mr. Pradhan, I am also doing, we started our loan activities in our carriers with MSME funding.
Correct, sir. You started that.
So, when we started in small places, we didn't have any corporate. Later on, we came to corporate credit and we spent a lifetime in corporate credit. But MSME credit is where we started. Let me tell you, I think if I look back at my nearly 40 years of banking, the quality of data, the quality of corporate governance improvement, the quality of moving away from the jugaad mentality of the MSME, I think persons like you, associations like you, we owe it to the nation that there must be a little better in terms of disclosures. Because why this lack of trust? Because diversions are still rampant. Consumptions are, consumptions over real utilization is still rampant. So the other side, because if you go to any developing market or other developed markets where MSME has matured, MSME funding has matured, is reliability, bankers, assessment than in Indian scenario. So this is one. Second thing is that NBFCs, you told, yes, the pool purchasing funding, so people are going into asset under management. And this asset under management, what is happening, most of the NBFCs have to have good payment track record of 6 months. Of this, what is the general practice that I have seen, because I am dealing with all the NBFCs, correct, and most of the NBFC chiefs are my friends and they confide in me. So what happens is that 3-month repayment correct, is taken in advance. So it is all that is required is 3 more months. So 3 months, once 3 months it gets into it, 3 more months, already it is available in an escrow or in a deposit account. So it is there and it is ready for securitization. So market dynamics is also playing a villain for the MSMEs. You have a very, very critical responsibility in terms of, making the MSMEs come up rather than, getting over immediate problems time and again and again and again.
Sir, I suppose that I understand that there is a lot of trust deficit between the borrower and the lender, sir. With this GST coming in, sir, you being a propaganda, sir, I don't know you, Mahapatra, sir. And with a lot of human interpretation going away, lot of technology which has come in, I suppose there is a lot of things, sir. The transparency itself has improved to a larger extent. If you look at in last 3-4 years, the amount of quality of data which the bankers are being able to provide, the type of interpretation, the type of 360-degree analysis which you can do right now. I suppose, sir, PSB loan is it is an ardent example of all the data and all the technological platform which is being there right now. I suppose.
I agree. I think Mr. Pradhan wanted to make
yes, sir, Pradhan, sir.
I just what Mahapatra sir is talking, I am absolutely in agreement with him. The data continues despite the fact that the GST platform is available. That is perhaps validating to some extent the top line. But the other P&L account items and balance sheet items, correct, they are being certified by our chartered accountant friends. Unfortunately, they are not telling the promoters that they should be giving a clear picture of their balance sheet. In the process, what will happen, they will be getting a better rating. The rating is today, if you look at, none of them are coming to the rating scale of triple B or double B. So that is another issue which is coming in the way. If you are talking of 5 crores, 7 crores,
Correct,
10
sir.
crores, 20 crores, there is an external rating requirement is there. And many banks till a couple of months back, they were not allowed to lend to entities which are below investment grade. So that was also coming in the way largely, and that was creating a cash flow mismatch in the MSME players pool of resources. Given that scenario as it is, what I'm looking at is, you from the association can make a clear cut position to the chartered accountants and to the promoters that
Correct,
they
sir.
should create a balance sheet which should be near actual.
Absolutely
It
correct, sir.
cannot be, unless and until you clean up your balance sheet, the kind of cross deficit that Mahapatra sir was banking industry. If this linkage in credit is happening, this is largely because of this trust deficit, not because of any other thing. And it is largely because the certification process, the validation process by the chartered accountants is not giving the kind of comfort the bankers are looking at. You have seen all those kind of diversions that has happened in the big players. Money has gone out of the system. It is because of the certification process. So can we think in terms of bringing those chartered accountants who are giving the certificates? They should be brought to book. When we are penalizing the promoters for the mistakes they are committing, at the same time, we are not thinking in terms of taking action against the CEOs and the CFOs and the chartered accountants who are playing a very crucial role in creating this distrust amongst the bankers and the promoters. So this has to be also simultaneously, you must create an opinion in the union, in the association, in the chambers, in the apex body of all those trade bodies, that this aspect has to be also tackled
Sir,
carefully.
I just, although I'm not advocating any side of it, there is one recommendation which we wanted. Sir, first of all, from an IBA, sir, in the CA Institute, sir, if there is any misdeed or anything, whatever that you see that a professional has done, I request any banker that with folded hands, sir, you please go and complain and you file a complaint there. I can assure you, I belong to that community. The action is very, very stringent and we take immediate action against that. And to the extent that license is barred to an immediate extent also. There is no such complaint also which we are also receiving from the banking community side. Secondly, sir, from an IBA perspective, there is a lot of centralization of those agencies because every bank you will see there is an empanelment of TV consultant, there is an empanelment of lawyer, there is an empanelment of valuer. Are doing it. So in case if I have done a mischief with one bank, sir, it doesn't, is मेरे को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता if I am as a lawyer or as a valuer, sir, because there are 10 different banks where I will go and get the work done. What is the conditionality like, except this ASM thing where IBA has done this centralized empanelment? None of the other value chain, I will just try and use none of the other ecosystem is being centrally regulated. It is being centrally monitored. It is being centrally been taken into account that way, except this ASM where the banks, where the IBA has taken. I don't know whoever agency can take the lead, but sir, this is at the ground level. If because I am seen, sir, I am into this industry. The lawyer itself will come and say कि सर मैं इस बैंक में काम नहीं करूंगा, इस बैंक में मैं ब्लैक लिस्टेड हूं, आप इस बैंक का काम मुझे दे दीजिए. Why so, sir? How the lawyer has the audacity to tell us like that, or any of the professional like that, sir?
Okay, I'll before Mahapatra sir responds to that,
Yes,
I'll
sir.
just bring two more points.
Correct,
One,
sir.
I was looking at a very recent judgment of Calcutta High Court. You might have seen that case is Vinod Agarwal.
Yeah.
Agarwal and CIT 2019 case. You see why this misdemeanor is happening. Supreme Court of India has also gave a very clear advice saying that the chartered accountants, the professionals, they can be proceeded against if they do something which is unfortunately many of those chartered accountants or
Any
people
of the
who are
profession.
certifying,
Correct, sir.
they are indulging in such need to be educated also, and enormous pressure has to be created from the association side. While the bankers are taking care, I'm not saying, as Mahavatar sir was saying, we are not washing up our hands. We have a huge responsibility towards each every segment, including MSME segment. That we will be playing that role with effective support to the MSME players. But at the same time, I think the certification level, the validation process has to improve significantly to create the amount of trust which is missing to a large extent.
Sir, I just wanted
Okay,
to
I think
highlight one more. Mahapatra sir, I will definitely give you just one more thought process, sir. Sir, every banker, sir, there is an L1 culture, sir. In a professional services also, if you look at the insolvency, sir, there is a lot of earlier the prices was, if it is 100 rupees, the bank started auctioning the services, sir. It is as a reverse auction process, sir. The prices came down to 5 rupees per month. If it is by, it was 100 rupees. So, sir, don't you think about what is my issue is that this L1 culture is also might be playing a little bit of a role. So now I give it to Mahapatra sir.
no, I understand these are discussions which we can have till cows come home. So I think I will rest that. Here, there is no end because we have been struggling this. But let me come back to the theme of our
Discussion.
webinar
Yes,
today,
sir.
which is what will be the shape of the recovery. Now,
Correct,
the
sir.
shape of the recovery, is quite fashionable these days to relate it to the letters of English alphabet. Whether it will be U-shaped,
VU,
it will
sir.
be V-shaped, whether it, my
L
opinion
shape.
is that if somewhere it will
Correct,
be
sir.
U-shaped, we will find that there will be rapid recovery followed by some slowdown. Again, there is some recovery, there will be some slowdown again. So we will see various inverted W's playing out, in the coming days. And we should be prepared that, in a time frame of 18 to 36 months, there'll be couple of quarters where we will see rapid strides in some sectors. In some sectors there will be a rapid downturn, and again the division of the sectors will depend on whether we want to do it industry wise or we do it size wise. If we do size wise, I think for MSME sector it could be a U-shaped recovery rather than a V-shaped recovery.
Okay.
There will be a
Say,
longer
Pradhan
bottom.
sir, what is your okay? I told that you are also highlighting the point that the difference between the bigger will become bigger and the M&A opportunity will be far more there. So Pradhan sir, what is your take on this recovery process?
See,
Sir?
I am looking from the perspective of, if I divide the recovery prospects from three perspectives. See, I look, there is one process which is judicial. I see another process which is purely commercial, and the dimension which I am looking at. Why I am talking of judicial first is because today the judicial process has failed the securitization process. If I look at SARFAESI 2002, the district magistrates and CMA they have failed, that they have virtually frustrated each and every provision of the Securitization Act. Today, for medical state, for delaying the process, they do not even make a demand. There has to be a minimum of 20%, 30% payment of the dues, so that there is a fear of forfeiture. If I do not follow the discipline as defined by the court of law, I will be losing that money. So I would expect the judicial process need to be quick, and the justice has to be proportionate. It cannot be looking at the person, and the delivery has to be as per the person's financial position or the social status. That cannot happen. Second thing, when I'm looking at the commercial aspect, when I look at commercial aspect, particularly I'm concerned about the large projects. MSME will be part of that. The large projects which are stuck up. If you look at the power sector, if you look at steel sector, if you look at telecom sector, all the sectors are in serious trouble. And the power sector, there are more than 34, 35 projects which are almost complete. What they are waiting for is, as we call it in commercial parlance, there is a lot of plant load factors available,
Factor.
but plant load availability is not there. There is PLF, but there is PLA, but there is PLA, but there is no PLF. So in the process, if those projects could be taken over by the central PSEs and they can be run, they will be perhaps giving us much more value than what the bankers are getting. In that will be ensuring good amount of flow into the industry, into the trade, into the commerce without any issue. Because of the second group of players who are really creating a problem, this is not only adding to huge credit cost. I just wanted to bring one dimension to the argument. Look at the credit cost today. On the banking industry will never ever be an issue.
Sir, before, I suppose we are running out of time, but sir, I won't be doing the justice, sir, if I don't ask the last question, sir. It is on the Basel II, Basel III norms, sir. More than 112 countries has signed this Basel II and Basel III norms. If you look at the European countries, the American, all the Asian countries, they've all signed it, sir. But you look at the norms for restructuring, look at the risk weightages for all the asset classes, you look at all the restructuring norms, you look at the risk weightage of all the asset classes, why it is different from countries to countries. I will just give you an example, sir. One of our clients, which has got a hotel operations in 14 countries, including they also own and operate approximately around 10 hotels in India. In this last 15 days, sir, all the 14 hotels outside the India, they have been restructured without any fuss, anything as such. Sir, but in our country, sir, but our banks and into our regulators, sir, this restructuring is a bad word that not even a single day installment we can defer it for last 1.5 years, whatever that is there. Again, as far as the risk weightage is concerned, sir, in real estate, now सर देयर इज द रिकॉर्ड जीरो में हमको पकड़ के रखा गया है सर प्रधान on that. Sir.
So what is creating problem is that the risk weight that you are giving, again, risk weight that is given, that is how much of capital you will hold, depends on the collateral cover. You know, it's a multiplication of PD multiplied by LGD.
Correct, sir.
So if if the probability of default is very high, but LGD is zero, the provision required is zero. Because if you have collateral cover of 200% and the market value of that collateral is 80%, in the worst case scenario, you are recovering 160% of your outstanding.
Correct.
So even if the probability of default is 20%, because LGD is zero, so PD multiplied by LGD, which is the loss given default is zero.
Correct, sir.
So loss given default is the true indicator of the provision that the bank should hold. This requires robustness of data. But if we do not have robustness of data, then there will be a rule-based prescription, which the regulator is doing. So I do not blame it on whether it is, it is a system, because of the state in which our banking system is in, because of the reliability of the data points in our system, because of the trust deficit between what the bankers are declaring and what the bankers will declare once a judgment-based prescription is given. So that is why our system has adopted a rule-based system. So that is what is my comment. I agree. The ideal is that if there is a data point-based or what we call judgment-based provisioning, probably the quality accounts will definitely be getting more assistance and will be free from the hassles of bureaucracy, as you say.
There should be percent they don't. But if you know the point of call, it will make a lot of sense. You, from the industry perspective,
is getting tested. Banking systems after this.
Sir, timing kitna time how much time do you predict for this?
I do not know. See,
Some estimation.
Again, from today I saw an article in Economist which says that earliest economic recovery will start the quarter beginning the 1st of October. That is where people are pegging, because they are telling that this quarter is likely to be a washout, and the next quarter will be rebuilding, recalibrating. Like if a machine is down, setting up the machine again takes time. So it will take a quarter's time. So even if I am an optimist, I tend to agree with that. That it is only the third quarter of this current financial year that we will start seeing green shoots.
Pradhan sir, your take on timeline?
Yeah, I am not that eternal optimist as Bhatra sir is. Going by the scenario I have been seeing for the last couple of quarters, and the way the responses are coming from the regulatory Q4 of this financial year, I would see some green shoot coming up, not in the Q2 and Q3.
So, sir, one
This
person
would,
says,
this would
yes, sir.
depend substantially on the further steps being taken by the state governments and the central government. How are they going to place those laborers who have been displaced? The reverse migration
Correct, sir.
has to happen. They need to be placed there and they should be provided. In the meanwhile, they should be taken care of so that that moral elements high, they do not die of hunger. Many of them, they are saying, we are willing to die of disease, but not of hunger.
Correct,
So
sir.
that point is the migrant laborers to the disadvantage so that they remain protected and they are back to work maybe after 3 months, 4 months time when we are in a better position to.
Sir,
So in summary, I think Pradhan Sahib is giving 1 more quarter of moratorium to COVID.
so COVID, sir, that is all there. So, sir, but sir, I suppose, sir, it need to be reflected in our moratorium also, sir, for industries at large, sir.
The way the graph is going up, we are in the lockdown, so we do not know what is happening because the moment lockdown opens, how many people are reported under that
Correct, sir.
contamination happens.
So we need to be absolutely
No,
careful
no,
of that,
the
sir.
India's. So I request
Okay.
that
Mhm.
you should see it. It's quite, quite scientifically
Explain the fact there, sir.
structured.
Yes, sir.
And
Mhm.
wider testing will not lead necessarily to bigger number of cases, and how economies like India must optimize testing, and these are, as I told you right at the beginning, these are NPIs, and NPIs must take. But I think Mr. Pradhan's point is right. This is an unknown. Whether testing will get more results or testing will not lead to more results, but we are dealing with this, and I think.
Sir, I suppose we are absolutely running out of time, sir. We have already have crossed our limit, but sir, there is no word called thank you. Sir, your each and every word that both of you spoke, sir, it was coming out of such an eternal experience. It's supposed like that, sir. Aap log, from wherever your each and every word of wisdom, sir, we have rightly understood it. Sir, you can look at how much the appreciation which all the people has brought down on the table, sir. How much the people has appreciated the type of remark that we are getting, sir. Both sirs are excellent. We have never heard like this. So this is look at the responses, sir. We are absolutely delighted to have both of you here. One thing, sir, once again, sir, it was absolutely pure from your the good bad about it, sir. I on behalf of the company, on behalf of industry,
Before Jyoti, you thank us.
Yes,
just one thing that I know that we didn't have a question and answer.
Correct, sir.
So you can collate, and on behalf of Mr. Pradhan, I can assure you, you can collate all the things. What we will do is that we'll try to give our answers,
correct, sir,
which you can publish and mail it to this group. And those of you who are interested can follow me on the Twitter also.
Very nice, sir.
M Mahapatra, where I keep on posting, things that I come across in terms of knowledge, in terms of other things. So please do ask questions. Take these questions which have been posted in the chat and Q&A window.
Correct, sir. There are approximately
after
around
consolidating and
82
editing, and we'll give the answers.
Correct.
Oh, excellent. That's
fantastic.
A good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
so nice.
Pradhan sir and Mahapatra sir. Absolutely, thank you. There are approximately around 80 questions which you have not been able to answer. But sir, we will definitely take another time from both of you out of the busy time, sir. I request, sir, please allow us some more time, and we will take care, and we'll again have that discussion, sir. Thank you once again,
thank
sir.
You.
Thank
all
you
the viewers.
all
please stay safe.
Absolutely.
And please stay happy.
You, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
All.
Stay safe, sir. Thank you.
Take
All
care.
the best. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.